Welcome to another episode of Beyond Game Day, where we talk about the week that was and the week that's to come. Today, no Thabiso's toilet. Jobe is taking a rest, and he must. He must rest. He must rest. I think he's taking time out for us now. With the league returning. Your partner, Thabiso, your partner. For us. But I've got with me Morena Mothupi, esteemed sports journalist, anchor, knows all things sports. But he's also like Thabiso, is another Bakajuju.
Yes.
Who firmly believe that it's their season as well.
Yes.
Hey, kunzima. Mo,
Yeah.
good to have you, man.
Good, man.
Yeah. Let's hit the ground running.
Mm.
Big one. Bafana. Aye. Baflopper. Is there anything you can read into the draw against Panama and then the loss in Cape Town? I mean, that loss, Morena, was unnecessary. In front of a full Cape Town stadium.
Look, I don't understand why the capacity must mean anything.
No, people are there to support, Morena.
Yeah, well, people...
They're getting behind the boys.
Yeah, they are, as they should, because they've given them reason to over the last, what has it been, 5 years? Under the Hugo Broos leadership.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they went from begging you to come and sit and watch them play, and now you are going there of your own accord. And they've given you reasons to come and support them, especially
They must win.
especially in cities where they hardly are there. Cape Town, for example. Durban sees them all the time. Durban sees everybody all the time, you know. But
Qabeqa, when they went to Qabeqa.
Qabeqa, you know, when they went to the Free State Stadium as well. So, and that they've earned that, you know, they've earned that. Let's not now, you see, this is what I always say about South African football fans in general, very fickle, and we suffer from a bit of amnesia where we forget where we come from.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of South African football fans probably don't even remember the 3 previous coaches before Hugo Broos. 3. Yeah. Some fans have probably forgotten the days of Gordon Nickerson when they used to organize us friendlies with New Zealand. You know? And the only thing about New Zealand football we knew was Jeremy Brockie.
Yeah.
We've come a long way. We've come at times where a number of our players were based in Europe. In fact, the bulk of our squad, starting 11, was based in Europe. Playing in good leagues. Did nothing for you guys. Nothing. You beat... the last time you were at a World Cup, you beat a useless French team that was actually protesting. I mean, you come a long way from the time you last... No, but hear me.
I get Proteas vibes here.
From the last... Oh, they're worse. Because with the Proteas, unlike a World Cup, they don't have to qualify. See, that's the big difference. And the Proteas, cricket...
You know, in terms of what they do to us as fans.
Cricket in this country is...
Bafana is taking us here.
Yes.
Now World Cup is around the corner.
Yes.
Now they want to pull the carpet from under our feet.
What are they pulling? What carpet? They qualified you
They
for
must
2...
win.
They qualified you for 2 successive AFCONs. One of which was never part of the mandate.
Yes.
The AFCON that was the mandate was the recent one now.
But you want wins, Moren.
Right? And the one that wasn't the mandate, you got a bronze medal. Your first bronze medal in 2.5 decades.
Yeah,
let's start
but we wanted to win.
You from who?
From them.
From
the World Cup.
From a Panama team that is ranked 22 places above you.
Yes.
22 places above you.
That is what they've done to us, Moren.
What? Gotten you used to...
They've lifted us our...
No. South Africans are ungrateful. Never ever accept mediocrity. Let's just get that straight. Let's get that straight. I'm not saying you must accept mediocrity.
Okay.
Because we are a sports mad nation.
Yes.
But never forget where you come from. Never forget that.
It is that third place at AFCON.
Never forget where you come from.
That has made us think that...
But it's because it's possible. It's very possible.
And then they did what they did now. At the last AFCON.
And it probably...
And we were angry at them.
And it most likely was because they got too big for themselves at that AFCON. You know, they thought, the only thing we need to worry about is Egypt in this group. Angola was like, don't. Zimbabwe was like, we've shown you problems before. You know, but
so they can be better.
They can be better. But I wanted to say, I even said it to, you know, South African morning anchor Braden Moyani, and I said, the problems did not start with AFCON, and the problems are not starting with Panama. The problems started with your World Cup qualification. You went down to the very last match, which you had to win for you to qualify. And the beauty about that last match was we had a bone to pick with Rwanda.
Yeah.
And we were desperate to qualify. Those boys were desperate to not be part of the previous groups that had not qualified. The last time we qualified, properly qualified for a World Cup, Relebohile Mofokeng wasn't alive.
Yeah.
Mbegazeli Mbogazi was not alive.
Yeah.
Then Mbegazeli Mbogazi, let's call a screamer now against him. He was not alive the last time we qualified for a World Cup. We take away 2010. So they did not want to be that group where they're boxed in with everybody else, especially after the bronze medal.
And doing dances
the dances that we did. So all of that, never forget all of those things that you went through with the best of the best. Your Itumeleng Kunez, your Spiro Chavalalas. Exactly. You know, Pito, exactly. So mine is to say, do not ever be lulled into accepting mediocrity, because you know how good it can get. But let them.
No. We must accept what happened.
Do not forget where you come from.
Okay,
that's all I'm saying.
Will they be ready for the World Cup?
Hold up. They have no choice but to be. At this point, it's what else do you have? Okay. Warm-up matches are not going to tell you anything.
Will they play
these Panama games? Whether for me, it would have been nice to get a Brazil. Nice to get a... Exactly. It would be nice to get a top 10 team. It would be nice. Yes. It really would be nice. Yes. But you're playing a nation that a lot of South Africans, firstly, geographically don't know where Panama is, right? They don't know that they're Central African, which Hugo Broos explained it in every press conference that he had the opportunity to. We asked for them specifically because they play that Mexican football. Yeah. They play Central American football. So we needed a nation that's close to in style as Mexico, the nation we're going to face first. 1. 2.
In the opening game of the World Cup, no.
That's 1. 2, he said, he didn't have to say it. You had to just go look it up. They are ranked 33rd in the world. When last did you taste 33 in your rankings? You haven't. It's been years since going on 2 decades since you popped into the top 50. Yeah. So remember where you are. Yeah. South Africans' disrespect of other nations is purely because you don't know these other nations. You've never seen these nations play. You only know Morocco, you know Brazil, you know France, you know Argentina. You know the players who ply their trade in the big leagues. That's all you know. And that's unfortunate because this World Cup will teach you to widen your scope of knowledge about other nations, right? You're going to find out why Curaçao qualified for the World Cup. You're going to find out why Haiti qualified for the World Cup. And
let's give it to
You're going to qualify. You're going to understand why the Democratic Republic of Congo had to go through what they went through, and they still made it. You're going to understand. This World Cup is going to teach you things. This World Cup is going to be the World Cup of the greatest upsets. It'll be a horrible World Cup because of the host nation. Yeah. But it'll be an amazing World Cup in terms of the shocks you're about to find out. You yourself might just go shock South Korea. You might go do that. You might walk out of there with 2 wins and a draw.
Denmark ingenang.
There's Denmark and Genang.
Czech Republic is in. So Czech Republic are in our group.
So
it's South Korea, South Africa,
and Czechia,
Mexico, and
we're with Czechia.
Yeah. So
we start with Mexico, we come with South Korea, we finish with Czechia. And the Chechians will say, what we had to do to get here, we need to represent. You need to and then you're the host nation, co-host nation. You are not trying to lose. You're not trying to lose.
And go back to 2010.
Exactly. Then you've got South Korea.
South Africa have got a bone to pick with you.
Then you've got South Korea.
To settle because of what you did to them at their World Cup.
So there's just so much. South Korea, nobody's talking about them right now because it's you countries in Asia who always qualify.
Look what they did when they hosted the World Cup.
Exactly.
The last time we had actually qualified for a World Cup. South Korea.
So I'm saying to say, I'm devil's advocating this thing to say, don't ever accept mediocrity. Expect and ask for Bafana Bafana to win all of their games, because you can. What's stopping you? What's stopping you? You're part of the reason why Nigeria is not going.
Yeah.
So
I take it.
So mine is don't accept mediocrity, but remember how far we've come. Everybody's now lambasting Hugo Broos because he's a stubborn man. He's stubborn because when
he picked you guys up
when he started what he started, and he built a system, and he said, I will give my players, you will be in this national team that I'm trying to build here, where I've been asked to qualify you for AFCONs and World Cups. It's my way or the highway. He found a system, and he found players that fit his system. We're not going to like some of his selections. God, I get a headache sometimes calling out the match day 23 that he selected, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, really? Look at what he's doing at his club, and you insisting on putting him here, right? But then it's to say, we got to where we got to because of the stubbornness. Because he said, I'm not going to be a favorite. I will acknowledge where I've made mistakes and I will reverse Themba Zwane being the greatest mistake he had made in his tenure. I will acknowledge where I've made a mistake, but I've got a system. He knew before AFCON what 2/3 of his World Cup squad is going to be. He knew before AFCON, and he told you at AFCON, he's like, I'm most likely not going to change anything. What you've been seeing during the qualifiers, you'll see at AFCON, you'll see at the World Cup. It's just about somebody must wow me. Domestically, which is the bulk of our squad, we've got the last couple of months left in the season. The last couple of months left. Ikram Reyners, you need to put your hand up because everybody's speaking for you. Everybody's speaking for you. The same way people were chastising the then Proteas head coach who decided Kyle Abbott over Vernon Finland over Kyle Abbott, right? The coach that made the decision at the time. And now, of course, you're blamed for us losing because it was Vernon was not so.
So Russell Domingo.
Now you got chastised for that. You got criticized for that. So that kind of thing
I'll give it to you, nah?
But let's not let them think that because you've made it to the World Cup that's your achievement.
They must now give us certain.
Banyana with no funding, with terrible preparation for the 2023 World Cup, got to the round of 16. That's what Banyana did. Still today, we don't have a professional league, and they are the first senior national team in football in this country historically to get into the round of 16
at a World Cup.
At a 32-team World Cup. You've got a 48-team World Cup.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing that the likes of Italy didn't qualify.
Well, Morena.
It's embarrassing that they didn't qualify for a 48-team World Cup.
Justice.
Right?
For Gattuso, who said that Africa must get fewer spots at the World Cup. Justice.
That time, we've got we are nowhere near you as a European team. Europe was doing its own playoffs. And then there were the intercontinental playoffs. You've got 16 spots open for you. 16, and you couldn't crack it in there. We were only given...
And it's the second chance.
We were given 10, but the 10th spot was you're going to have to fight to get in there. So we actually were supposed to go with 9. But the TRC was like, no, Africa must take 10. You as Europe, what are you taking? And never mind you as Europe, you allowed Bosnia and Herzegovina to get in ahead of you.
Yeah.
A 40-year-old Edin Dzeko who's playing in the second division in the Bundesliga to get ahead of you. Gianluigi Donnarumma, what was supposed to be the next greatest goalkeeper.
In world football, not going to the World Cup.
Go back to Ghana and Nyo Phahla and ask Mario Balotelli for forgiveness. Go ask the man that scored your last World Cup goal. The last goal that Italy scored at a World Cup. Mario Balotelli scored that. And how did you treat him after that? Go there and ask that man for forgiveness so he can lift the curse. Go there.
Ghana is also doing funny things, firing a coach. So close to the World Cup. Ghana not serious. Sometimes we don't take ourselves seriously. Mo, we happy that Bafana going to the World Cup?
We're happy Bafana's going to the World Cup. We're scared right now, 3 months to go, how they're looking going to that World Cup. We are worried that we may not get, practice matches that will gear us up nicely, for this World Cup. But I want to urge South Africans, criticize this national team, at great lengths. Criticize them at great lengths because they've gotten you used to success. They've gotten an entire generation used to success that they'd never known. Criticize them, but back them, and don't do that thing of like. And you thought Bafana could do something. Don't expect Bafana Bafana to qualify for the knockout stages. Hope that they do. Don't expect it of them. Yeah. Don't expect it of them. Hope that they do. Because, let it shock you.
Okay.
Let it evoke that emotion. Because it's...
I'll give it to him.
Wow.
I'll give him that. I'll give him that.
This is anybody... And I don't want to say anybody's World Cup to win.
Yeah.
But this is anybody's World Cup to do...
This is open.
This is anybody's World Cup to do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Guys, Haiti, Curaçao, Uzbekistan, Jordan. Can we please remember that there are countries like Jordan and Uzbekistan who have never been to a World Cup?
They've got no government there.
They are literally run by gangsters.
Yeah.
and they're at the World
and
Cup.
they're going to World Cup.
So this is anybody's World Cup. As much as they believe in themselves and have set themselves whatever standards they may have, you two do the same.
It's anybody's World Cup, but it's... Whose AFCON is it? Morocco or Senegal?
It's Senegal's AFCON.
Thank you. And I'll say why
Senegal's
I'm asking
AFCON.
this. With the decision that was obviously made last week, we, Tabis and I had a long conversation about this. Patrice Mothupi, CAF president, on Sunday, sort of trying to ease people's concerns, whatever. For me, Morena, I don't care. The image of CAF has been badly dented by this. All right? Morocco, I've written them off. In fact, Morocco should never participate again in AFCON or in any CAF competition and their teams, because they don't see themselves. They see themselves above the rest of teams in Africa. What is Mothupi going to go do in Senegal? Because now he says he's going to go and visit Senegal.
He's going to go show leadership. He's going to go show impartialism. He's going to go show balance. He's going to go show that I haven't chosen a side. I am the leader of CAF. But that does not mean that I've got my fingers in all the pies.
And you shouldn't.
Yeah, it doesn't mean...
Governance-wise, you must let the process run.
It does not mean that I have great influence. Although, even though you guys think I should, but then that means CAF is being run as a dictatorship, which it had been under the Issa Hayatou, right? But I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I'm here to run African football with my assistance of all the different structures. So go and see Senegal. Equally, go and see Morocco if you haven't already. Go and talk to both of them. Hear their concerns. We know what Senegal's concern is, but also we know where Senegal are standing. He was like, we're not giving this trophy back, and we're not giving this money back, because we believe that CAS will come into our favor. And that's what Patrice Mothupi says. Go appeal. The channels are there. The decision was made by an independent body within CAF. Where even I got an email, just like every member of the executive. We got the email with the verdict, right? So you have the option and the channels to go appeal. Go and appeal it. Is it going to make CAF look bad? Of course it is. Is it going to make me look bad? It has to. I'm the leader. The same way Gianni Infantino is getting crucified for what he's doing with Donald Trump, right? But he's not making those decisions by himself.
But the Peace Award was by himself.
Well, then again, you're also trying to...
I know.
You're trying to pacify a lunatic, which you're just making the situation worse. But in Dr. Patrice Mothupi's case, it's a thing of let the processes play out.
Yeah.
Let what needs to happen. It's just unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
That was the decision that was made, and that their very own rules and regulations and laws and articles were clearly not properly ventilated and were not considered. And it looks like, it may not be the case, but it looks like a case of intimidation by way of, we have very deep pockets.
Yeah.
And we are holding you hostage with your WAFCON.
Yeah.
Your very important WAFCON.
Yeah.
We don't care. We are willing to sacrifice our national team going to the World Cup next year, if it means all of you are not going to the World Cup next year. You cannot have this WAFCON. You can't move
and
it.
I think that Telela Manje, because they're hosting a World Cup in 2030.
Exactly. So it's that for them, where we need to also remember that some of these people who are on these committees in CAF are human beings. The same way we berate people, being corrupt and you're a human being. You first think of yourself before you think of what you're serving.
I hope that's not the case.
We can only hope that's not the case. But Vata, we all know this. We were supposed to host the World Cup in 2006. How did we lose that?
Oh, yeah.
We were supposed to host the World Cup in 2023, rugby.
Yeah.
How did we lose that?
Yeah.
All you need is one guy to switch the vote. One guy, Vata. We lost to Germany because of one guy.
What was the New Zealand guy? The Oceania guy?
Yeah. One guy, Vata. One guy.
Yeah.
You will think that you're losing it because of... No, you're not losing it.
The guy with the white hair.
You are not losing it because of the superpowers.
He abstained from voting.
Yes.
Yeah.
That hurt us. So that's what I'm saying.
And then with the World Cup, Bernard Laporte did these things.
So
he went to jail, eh?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, to say that South Africans and Africans at large must remember that these people are humans. The decision makers in these organizations are humans. And some of them, all it takes is a promise of $5 million. You're already earning a lot of money. So you ask yourself, somebody who's like, we talk about our politicians, you're taking home 2, 3, 4 million rand a year. You want to tell me that you can't live off of that? And then you see the kind of kickbacks they get, a sound system to the tune of 100,000 rand. That's what you've literally sold your country out for, a sound system. You've sold your country out for a BBL.
Hey?
That's how fickle a human being is, Vata. You're earning all of this money and you're selling your country out for far less. So I'm not saying that's the case with Morocco and the individuals who made that decision, but open your mind up to that possibility that 1 or 2 people on that committee were changed. And it might not be the one that you think it is. Might not be the justice.
It was the Tunisian.
Then there are those who are saying the Nigerian.
Yeah, who should not have been there.
Yeah.
And then everyone's then questioning the Nigerian justice.
Exactly. So open your mind up to these possibilities, but we are standing resolute as the rest of Africa in believing that, including Algeria, funny enough, they're like a North African team that is on our side. We are standing resolute as the rest of the continent to say Senegal are the champions. Yeah. And that the Court of Arbitration for Sport will decide that. However many months it takes. Because it's not something that's gonna it's not a verdict that'll come now.
After the
but they can't take the trophy, they can't take the money until the decision is made. And we know that decision will be made.
Someone who's winning trophies, Morena. Kimi Antonelli.
Hey.
Mercedes are back, Chief.
No, they're not.
They're not?
Nah. They're not the kind of back that people think that they are. Nah, they're not. I still feel like it's an open field.
You think so?
I think this season will be about the driver. A lot more about the driver and not so much about the car. The car will play a role, but I think McLaren would lose it because of their drivers, because of Zach Brown. Red Bull will lose it because I think their star is just checked out and he doesn't even have support. And they don't have the car that fits because now the new regulations.
The powertrains are there.
So they've been cut at the ankles, have Red Bull where the car's concerned. And it's frustrating, of course, our guy.
No Adrian Newey there.
No Adrian Newey.
Christian Horner has gone.
Yeah.
Regardless of how Christian Horner went.
Exactly. But
Christian Horner was
great.
The backbone of that team.
He was the reason why they won so many titles.
Yeah.
So Red Bull frustrated. McLaren, Zach Brown is still just...
He doesn't know who's number one driver is.
No, he does know who his number one driver is, but he's back in the wrong driver.
Piastri.
Piastri is the man. Piastri is the talent. Piastri is the guy that'll literally take on Kimi Antonelli, George Russell, Sir Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and of course Max Verstappen. He will take them on because he's that good. With Lando Norris...
But at the moment...
With Lando Norris, he needs it fed to him. No, they're nowhere.
Let's give Mercedes.
Let's give
Mercedes.
The Mercedes car is doing what it needs to. It's playing to the regulations.
Yes.
And now we're seeing Kimi Antonelli. His talent coming through. His talent is coming through.
Youngest driver to lead a Formula One championship.
Yeah. And one can only hope that Toto goes with the one that is showing the promise. Yes.
He's got a...
George Russell is
Listen,
your leader.
When he won his first race, that's what he said. He's too young. He makes too many mistakes.
George Russell is your leader. But if George is not going to do what is expected of him as a leader... I don't think
George got the fight in him, man. I don't think he's ruthless enough.
He's not ruthless.
To be a Formula One champion.
And why do you think he and Lando Norris are best friends? They're not ruthless. They are not ruthless drivers. They're too soft.
Any chance of Sir Lewis doing something?
Yeah, a couple podium finishes, a shock race, Obviously, we're hoping he wins at home. Always hope that he wins at home. But yeah, I think the more the season goes, if any teams do decide with the winter break or the summer break to tweak their cars as per the, within the confines of the regulations, look, I think a couple podium finishes, first 2 races of the season, and you've made a podium finish. You haven't labored within the midfield, I think Sir Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc can do something. A couple race wins, maybe 1 or 2 for Sir Lewis Hamilton, depending on how the car responds to him and that it doesn't deteriorate. And that's, oh my God, and that the Ferrari strategy actually comes to the party. But it's
nice to see Sir Lewis and Charles having a crack at it.
Absolutely.
And they're racing each other.
Absolutely. And I also think, I don't know how much Charles is feeding off of his senior, but I also think that Sir Lewis Hamilton has gotten to that point now where he's just having fun. He's having a good time. And I think that might just be the difference between this season, last season, and the season before that. Because his final season with Mercedes, he was having nightmares.
Yeah.
His first Ferrari season, it was like, guys, come on.
Yeah.
You know, you asked me what kind of car you should build for us. I advised you to the best of my ability with the help of Charles, and you gave us a heap of nothing.
Yeah.
So hopefully, with the new regulations, they've played to them, used them to their advantage, and now they're just feeding off of his experience, and that he doesn't.
Are you enjoying Formula One?
I am.
Are you enjoying the new regulations?
I'm enjoying the new regulations. I love it. I love it when, look, I'm not going to lie. I loved it when Sir Lewis Hamilton was dominating.
Yeah.
Right? But
I think all of us loved it.
But if you're a true lover of the sport,
yes,
right? Taking away from who you support as a driver, if you're a true lover of the sport, you don't want outright dominance.
No, you don't.
You want a bit of a toss up now and then.
I mean, that's why if Max goes at the end of the season, I say good riddance.
Yeah,
not because of his dominance.
Yeah,
but the way in which he became world champion.
Yeah. No, true.
And then afterwards, the disrespect he had for everyone else in the paddock.
That for me is the problem. It's just his personality.
Yeah.
You know,
so Max must go.
We don't want him to be sweet and nice, like, you know, with like the other guys. But don't be a clown. You know, don't be a douche. You know,
because he thinks it's about him.
Exactly.
And it's not about him.
Don't be a douche.
The sport is far bigger than him.
It is. I will, you know, I will be the opposite of the good riddance and say it would be unfortunate if he leaves the sport, because he is special talent. He is a special driver. He's aggressive and he's hot-headed, but he is exactly what Formula One. It's why people fell in love with the sport back in the Ayrton Senna days, you know, because they just went at it. They went at it hard, and he goes at it a little too hard, and then he thinks that, you know, this is my daddy's sport.
Yeah, for my side, Morena, it's a simple thing of, I take nothing away from the talent. The guy can drive a car. We just, everyone must just acknowledge that.
But we need a complete package.
Yeah. It is how you drive.
Okay.
You know?
No, fair point.
And I'm still hurt, man, about Abu Dhabi. I'm hurt about Michael Massa saying, Toto, they call it a motor race. That was not a race. That was not. How he raced Sir Lewis Hamilton in the last few races, he brake checked him in Saudi Arabia. He almost pushed him off the track, in fact, in Sao Paulo. And hadn't it been for Lewis pushing him off the track in Silverstone, Max would have continued trying to bully Lewis Hamilton. And look at how then afterwards, I mean, you've won your world championship. Lewis challenges him, and there he goes, gets on top of his car in Italy. Come on, guys.
Vata, you know what I love about Bernie Ecclestone and how senile he has gotten?
Yeah,
is that he owes nobody anything anymore. So he's just going to allow his intrusive thoughts to come through. Bernie Ecclestone was blatant about this man cannot break Michael Schumacher's record.
Now Michael Schumacher has a record.
It's Michael Schumacher's record. This man cannot break Michael Schumacher's record.
Because he's not broken every single record in Formula 1.
Exactly. But this one. So then that just basically goes to tell you everything you need to know about Abu Dhabi 2021.
Yeah.
That when that statement came out, never mind what Michael Massey said. No. All of them they were nicely put together and they were politically. Bernie Ecclestone got old, got senile, and he lost his bearings, and he just blabbed, and he blabbed that, and that basically tells you. It basically it's going to take. Not even a miracle will assist this man in getting number 8, and I would hope that he's gotten to that stage now in his career, like Serena Williams got to after the birth of Alexis,
where
They just don't want it to happen. And that's okay. You know, it's fine.
But I know I'm the GOAT.
But I know I'm the GOAT. We all know you're the GOAT. Records that he's set are going to take forever to break. And I mean forever. When now you've got a guy who's only sitting on 4 world titles already willing to give up.
Yeah. He's throwing
after what Sir Lewis Hamilton went through.
Yeah.
And you're willing to give up after 4. You had a German guy who checked out with his 1 title in 2016 because he knew he's a fraud. You know what I'm saying? Come on, guys. Nobody will ever be Sir Lewis Hamilton. Nobody. Yeah, Nico Rosberg. Yeah, you get your title. They back you to get the title, and then you just like.
I know, but listen, let's give it to Rosberg.
Yeah,
Rosberg was like, not after that season.
Yeah.
There's nothing left of me.
Yeah, so
I will, and because he knew the following season Lewis was going to be.
Absolutely.
And he was like, I've got no energy for this.
So Vata, for me, it's just, I'm hoping Sir Lewis Hamilton has gotten to a point in his life now, you know, that even, you know, may Roscoe's beautiful soul rest in peace, even those kinds of developments in his life, he's just realizing that if I can just achieve this dream, that he's changed the dreams that he has for the sport, if I can just achieve this dream of racing in Africa, of racing in South Africa, if that can happen before I get too old to drive, then guys.
Then it's done.
Then it's chai. Number 8. Got 100 and God knows how many race wins. I'm like sitting 15, 16, 12, 20 race wins ahead of everybody else. Podiums. Let's not even.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's now focus on the Kimi Antonelis of the world, the Oscar Piastris, and see what they're going to come with.
Yeah. You know, Morena, you speak about what's going to come. I fear what's going to come in just in sport in general. IOC last week pronouncing that transgender athletes cannot participate in women's sport. Caster Semenya came out fighting on Sunday.
And understandably she would, because, you know, you would have thought that, which is what, I always, and it's not out of mockery or anything, but I'm always amused so much by human beings when they see winds of change. And they actually genuinely believe that there will be winds of change. Kirsty Coventry is just a face. Yeah, that's all she is. She's diversity. She's the face of diversity. That's all she is. Kirsty Coventry is still an administrator. At the end of the day, she's an administrator who understands the system and understands what the system will allow for you to do. Oh, it's great. Let the world celebrate you. Let Africa celebrate you. You know, the first female and first African International Olympic Committee. Great for the optics. At the end of the day, she is still a sports administrator.
But nothing changes internally within the IOC.
Nothing changes internally within the IOC. This is not something that just all of a sudden came up with Kirsty Coventry. She was there.
Well, World Athletics was already doing it.
But also, she was there when it started being, you know, there were murmurs of it within the IOC somewhat 2-3 years ago. Why are we now surprised? Why are we now? Look, irate we should be, but why are we surprised? Why are we surprised?
Do you think it's a good rule?
It's a horrible rule. It's a horrible move. You know, we in sport, we are being led by fossils, you know, by people who refuse to change.
To move with the times.
Yeah. And it's not to say that, you know, the transgender community are with the times. You know, this predates back.
But Morena, I can also understand though why the fossils are making such decisions. Put a transgender boxer in a ring with a female boxer. This person was previously a man, and now you're putting them against a female. The male being physically stronger and so on. You can understand what could happen.
Right. And then I hear you, and then I raise you to say, Caster Semenya is biologically different.
100%.
You know, to the so-called traditional female
athlete. Yeah.
You know, she's biologically different. She didn't ask for that. She didn't wake up and decide, or it wasn't a journey that she'd gone through, like, I'm going to be biologically different. I'll even raise you a different point. Who's that Indian athlete again? The first kind with the Caster Semenya biology, you know, there was no hoo-ha's about that then when she was dominating. I think it was the 800 meters.
The Romanian.
Was it the Romanian? Was it Romanian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She holds the record in 800.
Yeah.
Yeah, the world record. Yeah.
Built different.
Yeah.
But because all of these people are not European or not American.
Now, it's an issue.
Now it's an issue. Michael Phelps is not normal biologically.
Yeah.
Do we know that?
Yeah.
Michael Phelps is not normal biologically. But we marvel at his capabilities and what no human being, I'm sorry, but no ordinary human being can amass that many medals at the Olympics in that period of time. No normal human being. No normal human being can be that physically developed, and we are okay with it. So if we're okay with it, with Michael Phelps, and we are celebrating him as the greatest Olympian of all time, then we should be celebrating Caster Semenya as one of the greatest 800-meter athletes of all time with her biology. I hear the chat
Wambui,
yeah.
And this is why I think I've got a huge issue with Sebastian Coe. And I'm glad he lost out on the IOC presidency. Because he's been driving this
yes.
thing. When just still the IWF became World Athletics. And that's why now they find themselves in court, European Human Rights Court with Caster Semenya. And it's not going to stop because these DSD regulations, you could see they were directed at African athletes.
Yes.
You could see that they were directed at the female athletes.
Yes. Hence I brought up the 800-meter world record holder. Where was your concern for these DSD regulations and having them then? Because you can't tell me you couldn't notice that they were, biologically different.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me that.
No, you can see through pictures there.
But because they are not Black African, because they're not indigenous, because they're not your slaves, it's okay. It's whatever. We can look past it. But because now you get one white girl who is genuinely incompetent, I even forget her name, Lindsay Sharp, actually, who complains about somebody that's not even on your league. Because that happens.
And she still would not have made the top
Absolutely.
5.
And then you see to take it upon yourself to be like, actually, no, this needs to stop. Right? The same thing with the Algerian female boxer. As well with her. It's like, why? Because she's taller than the rest of them. It's got better reach. And now you want to question whether or not they're female. So for me, it's, I hear the whole chat about like, but they were previously biologically male. And now, they've transitioned. So what? You've got naturally biological women who are just of a different biology, but they are women who just are superior athletes. And who's to say? You see, that's another thing. You're already anticipating dominance from transgender athletes.
Yeah.
You're already anticipating dominance from transgender athletes. And also, you seemingly have a problem with the transition from male to female.
Yeah.
You're saying nothing about the transition from female to male. You're saying none of that. Yeah, what? So I'm sorry, but I am completely against, the rules, and they're gonna be passed. There's nothing that'll be done about it. We saw with how they just. I don't even want to say she was broken because you can never break Caster Semenya, but how they tried to and how it was like such a concerted effort. They will not stop. They will not stop at anything to make sure that these regulations pass and that transgender men and women do not participate.
I don't think they realized the fight that's in Mothupi.
Oh.
They didn't realize what they were coming up against.
What they don't, and never mind her fight, right? But what she sparked.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, it's 2026. We've got the 2028 Olympics, 32, 36, the 2040 Olympics. If they pass those regulations before LA, they will make it to 2040. You will be forced to be inclusive because that's just the life. That's just where we are. It's the world we're living in.
Yeah.
You cannot wish away the LGBTQIA plus community. You can't. You try as you may, you can't. You just cannot. So
it's not right.
It's
First,
wrong.
It's just not right.
It's wrong. It's morally wrong. It's all wrong. So mine is, let them have their thing now. But what the likes of Caster Semenya have started, they're not going. This is not a fire they'll extinguish. She's burned. She's sparked something in everybody. She's representing. She is she's the one whose head is on the spike. She's sacrificed herself for everybody else that comes after her. And we used to think that her Olympic gold medals and her legacy as an athlete, are the greatest thing about her. What she's now done and what she's going to continue to do, this will live far beyond whatever she did on the track. So good luck to the IOC. Good luck to the IOC.
Yeah, good luck to our South African teams in rugby. Champions Cup, China. Stormers have got to make it, Morena. Let's close off with that. Stormers have got to make the playoffs of the champions. They've got to, Morena.
Vata, like how you were questioning Bafana Bafana with the World Cup. I'm tired of setting myself up, with South African franchises in European Champions Cup, because mine is, I look at these teams, like I will watch the Aviva Premiership. I'll watch your French top 14. I'll look at these teams and I'll
where they're playing? They're playing Toulon.
I will ask myself, I will just ask myself, what's wrong with you? Why they're not that great? Like, how do we have a double World Cup winning fly half who's literally gotten us over the line in 2 different World Cup editions? How do we have you marshalling a Bulls team that is littered with Springboks? And you just can't beat these guys that you beat for fun when you face them in your end of year tour. When you face them in your... Where's the disconnect between the Stormers, the Sharks, the Bulls, and the Lions, and the Springboks? And what all those players do. I mean, I get...
When they wear the Bok jersey.
I mean, yes, I understand some guys do ply their trade abroad. I get it, but it's not that many of them. That's the thing, right? So where's the disconnect with you guys when you're representing your franchises and when you're representing your national team? Because at national team level, you are filthy. At franchise level, you're getting run over by a La Rochelle. A Bordeaux Begley just decides we're going to wait. There was a time where Bordeaux Begley was getting smacked by Toulon for fun.
I mean, Bordeaux, I think at some point moved to the 2nd division.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
they were relegated.
So I don't get it, Vata. I genuinely don't get it. I'm a hopeless optimist. So I believe in what Dobbo and Akras are doing. I believe that they will get past the round of 16. But my belief is measured, because I don't want to get invested, and then when it doesn't happen, and I have to not go on air on a Monday morning.
So it's the same thing, like with Bafana.
Yeah, it's
Proteas.
It's
Gunners.
It's measured.
And
it's measured.
And Pirates.
And Pirates even. It's measured. I'm hearing people be like, we are right there. Every time Sundowns win, we are there. No, guys. No. Sundowns have done this 8 years in a row. They did it at the peak.
So Pirates, no.
Pirates will win the league. I have to believe that. I have to have something to hold on to. The same way I believe Manchester United will finish number 3. I need something to hold on to.
And the Stormers? Bafana?
Yeah. Look, if Bafana beat Mexico, Bafana's making the knockout stages.
Okay.
Bafana win the first match, because they never have. Bafana win the first match of a World Cup, because they've never done it. They didn't do it in 98, didn't do it in 2002, didn't do it in 2010. If they do it now, who's to stop us from getting into the quarterfinals? Then I will be delusional. They beat Mexico Mexico.
Abatal have heard it all.
They beat Mexico. Bafana beat Mexico in Mexico. Try stop us from getting into the quarterfinals. Try stop Relebile Mofokeng. Who, Thomas Christiansen, the Panama coach, was not asked about Relebile Mofokeng at that post-match press conference. He wasn't asked about him, but he just went. I need us to play that clip, actually, for Relebohile every time. Like, we need to send him that clip every time and remind him that he is who he thinks he is. We'll leave it to Hugo Broos, where and how he uses him. But,
I just listen now.
But, you know.
I just listen.
And here's the other thing.
This hope of yours.
Orlando Pirates wins the Betway Premiership. Bafana Bafana is making it to the quarterfinals of the World Cup.
Sundowns?
Sundowns, they're just
Champions League?
They're naturally. You know, and I'm not even a Sundowns fan.
All the big teams out of the Champions League.
Yeah, Sundowns hurt my feelings though. Sundowns hurt my feelings, losing to a team that now nobody remembers or cares about.
Pyramids.
Because Pyramids got knocked out as well. But
no big teams now
but Al-Ahly got knocked out by Esperance.
Yeah, they are the big team left.
I know. They hurt my feelings last season. I genuinely believed. Like, I believed. I saw it coming. I saw that second star coming. I'm at a point where Pirates fans will probably chop my head off, but I don't care. I don't care anymore who gets I don't care.
Who gets the next star?
For me, it's about South Africa.
Yeah.
For me, it's about South Africa.
So this is why Sundowns have got to win the Champions League for the sake of Bafana Bafana.
Yeah. And Pirates need to win the league for the sake of Bafana Bafana.
I'm not sure.
because a lot of there are a lot of Pirates players in the national team, so they need to go.
And this presence of these Pirates players is a big problem, because when Sundowns dominate the national team, they finish third at AFCON. When Pirates players dominate the national team, look what happened at the last AFCON. But we're not there. So Mo,
they were still drunk from winning the Carling Knockout Cup.
So Champions Cup, Stormers go through.
Champions Cup, Stormers and Bulls go through.
Okay.
Both of them.
Okay.
You can't come this far.
Challenge Cup.
Ooh. Yeah.
Sharks.
Yeah.
Because Sharks have won it before.
Yeah. Hence, I needed to remind myself.
Sharks have won it before, so.
And also, this is Siya Kolisi's, swan song season with the Sharks, and I'm sure he would want to finish.
Elizabeth is back.
Elizabeth is back as well. So I've got the belief in the former champions. South Africa.
So JP is building something. Hopefully. It's not a hospital pass.
Look, when JP Peterson was confirmed as the head coach, I literally remembered when Man United confirmed Michael Carrick. And I was like, so you give it to a former player and they start cooking all of a sudden. Long may he cook.
Yeah.
Long may JP Peterson cook. Also because I need more black former players being trusted
to coach
with such
franchises.
With such projects.
Yes.
Especially
not Currie Cup and SA Cup. At franchise level, URC,
so
Champions Cup, Challenge Cup. That's where we must see them.
Shout out to Makoti for what he did. And for the consortium believing in JP Peterson. He must now prove them right. And I believe he can. It'll be a good weekend for South African franchises. And if it's not, you know what? It's fine. We try again next season. These are our competitions. The URC, the Champions Cup, the Challenge Cup, they're ours. We've been dominating them since 2022. So it's fine. There's belief.
Let's leave it on that high note, Morena. As Morena says, guys, it's going to be a good weekend for South African franchises in the Champions and Challenge Cup. He's not too sure about Sundowns and the Champions League, but he's certain that Pirates are going to win the league. Oh, remember, the podcast doesn't forget. Beyond Game Day doesn't forget. Even Tabby we haven't forgotten about his proclamation. So, that's it for this edition of Beyond Game Day. We're all crossing fingers the South African teams will do well across the board.